Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I have a short cutting video to share with you. It's nothing major. As you can see before you, I've got a bunch of vintage chic roses, as well as some sliced pies from Rose Girls and muffins from Rose Girls. So it's a Rose Girls vintage chic scents type cutting video. Of course, as always, I went on my Instagram and asked you guys if you guys had any questions for me. So I will be answering questions. Because I don't think this video is going to be very long. If I don't answer your question, this video, I will save it for the next video because this is basically part of the stuff I picked for my melting basket for September. So of course, every month that I go into a new melting basket, I'll likely be doing more chopping. So with that said, there's nothing on my nails, and I am decided to try my hand at using the wavy cutter for everything. So I've actually only ever used the wavy cutter on like the loaves and stuff, or like the larger pieces. So I'm really wanting to try my hand. I found when I used this, it was a way sharper cut than the straight edge, which is this one here. It's just straight, whereas this one's got a nice, like a soap cutter or waviness. Anyway, before we go any further, I'm going to show you what we've got. So actually, I'll show you as I'm chopping it. So the first one I'm going to show you here is a two-toned vintage chic scents rose in Midway Treats, and it's described as saltwater taffy, cotton candy frosting, and fluffy marshmallows. So, and with vintage chic scents, I cut them in threes. So there's, sorry for the bad lighting, I'll cut right here, I'll cut right here, and then that third one should just pop out on its own. So we're just gonna give it a go. So, I had only a few questions actually. I guess maybe because I just did a video, there weren't as many questions to be asked. But the very first question comes from Shuzanne, Shuzanne, and she says DW Home Candles. This is with regards to DW Home Candles. I don't think you chopped up a DW Home Candle. Do they work just as well as Bath & Body Works for melting? I can't tell you because I've not done that yet. I don't have a huge backstock in DW Home Candles, which, I mean, part of the reason why I do what I do with Bath & Body Works candles is because they burn. Most of the time the burn's not very good, and it turns stinky. But DW Home, I don't have a plethora. Like we're talking, I had at one point 161 3-wick candles from Bath & Body Works. DW Home, I might only have like 8. So I haven't done that up because part of the reason also I wanted to chop it up a lot of my Bath & Body Works is I have so many candles that I want to chop it up and melt it because I feel I can go through it faster. I can also try to blend things, share it with friends with some unique scents from older candles from Bath & Body Works, you know, like rare ones and things like that. So that's why I've done that with Bath & Body Works. I don't know if I will do it for DW Home Candle because I just don't feel like, my opinion is that I don't think they need to be cut up, but that's just my thing. So this one's another rose in a really pretty pink. Sorry about the lighting, guys. It's first thing in the morning, and purple on the bottom. This one's the Evil Queen by Vintage Chic Scents, and that's Mac Apple Lavender Cotton Candy. All right, let's see about this one here. I'm really liking this cutter. I find that this cutter just cuts way better than the straight one. It's kind of fun too when you get like little slices, little rib marks on it. I think that's kind of cute. All right, so let's go on. The next question is from Elizabeth_Weiss87. Oh, you got into candles and melting, or what got me into, sorry, that's my bad. What got me into candles and melting wax? Was it something you grew up with, or did you discover it on your own? My mom didn't have, very rarely ever had a candle in the house growing up. I was always, as soon as I started working when I was 13 years old in a grocery store, and half my paycheck went to, you know, a place I never saw, which ended up helping me pay for my first year of post-secondary school. but the other half I got to keep for myself. So I was totally into the Body Shop and makeup. Like, I wasn't allowed to wear a lot of makeup, but I loved makeup. I loved the Body Shop. And when I was about, I want to say 17, I would buy like a candle here and there. And I've had those charmed aroma ones with the little jewel in it. I don't really like that now. It's not my thing anymore. But when I really got into it was when Bath and Body Works opened here, closest to my city. I want to say it's 6 years ago, something like that. It was just more accessible. And Winners and Home Outfitters and Home Sense, they had some candles, but they didn't have a lot of selection where I was. So anyway, before I finish this off, this is State Fair by Vintage Chic Scents. It's two-toned again. It's like a purpley color with a pink on top. And State Fair is described as funnel cake, powdered sugar, and strawberries. Sorry. Oh. So I really kind of got into candles way before I even started watching YouTube videos, like way before. And so when I started discovering YouTube channels that were talking about candles and stuff, I was like, holy cow, I've been doing like burning candles for so long. I love fragrance. Like I said, my parents never really had, like, other than at Christmas time, we'd have Christmas candles out and things like that. But that was pretty much the extent of it in our house. But what else? Yeah, and I've always loved home fragrance. I love my house to smell good. In fact, it's one of the biggest compliments, I think, if I'm wearing a great perfume and someone compliments me on how I smell. Or even when they walk into my home, they're like, oh my God, your house smells amazing. It's one of the biggest compliments I think I can get. And I think that kind of got me going with that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right. So we have the Mind Reader, which is purple on top and green on the bottom. And Mind Reader by Vintage Chic Scents is described as blackberry, pear, and cider. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I like the ambiance of candles too, but when they start misbehaving, you need to go in the corner and do a timeout for a while, i.e. nowadays, I'm going to chop you up. So, all right. Okay, let's see here. And the next question is from Amy Wilhelmina. What is the craziest or weirdest thing Willow has ever done? Oh my gosh, that is a cute question. Thank you very much for asking that, because immediately my mind goes to a story I'd love to share with you guys, because it's not really crazy as much as she's just evil. But in her yesteryears when she was quite young. So, but before I start chopping, or before I tell you, I'll probably have to chop a couple things while I tell you this. Step Right Up by Vintage Chic Scents, which is like a pink color on one side and a nice submarine yellow on the other, or more buttery yellow. And so this is described as cotton candy, marshmallow, raspberry glazed donut. So, okay, so Amy, that's a good question, Amy, thank you. Willow is 14 and a half years old now, but I want to say she's a good mouser, as well as bird catcher. Now, I prefer to catch the mice than the birds, but I can't really stop a cat that's outside doing her natural thing. But when I used to live in this old, like a place in another city on my own still, I used to have to keep the screen door open for her in the summertime because she was so annoying because she went in and out, in and out, in and out, kind of what she does now. But I had a screen door, and I remember I was just chillaxing on the couch, putting my feet up, relaxing, and I had that screen door open just enough for her to get through. So like trying to keep some of the other bugs out and stuff. Oh, speaking of which, she knows I'm talking about her. She might be meowing or crunching on her food shortly. Anyway, so I was laying down on the sofa watching television, and before I continue, Rose Girl's Monster Smoothie Coffee, which I purchased in a D-stash. Nice big slice here. So I'm sitting down or laying down watching TV, and I can see normally when she comes into my place, even when I open the door here, she kind of makes a presence, like her presence known. She murmurs, or she's like, that I'm here kind of thing. This particular time, and I didn't think much of it, she didn't say anything. I just saw the top of her tail because I was lying down on the couch being lazy. Saw the top of her tail, and she came in the house. Okay, no big deal, whatever. And she I know she walked towards her food dish. So with that being said, all of a sudden I'm again still laying down on the couch watching my lazy TV show that I was watching at the time, and all of a sudden I heard this clang, 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 clang. Like it sounded like, you know how cats eat in metal dishes, or dogs for that matter too, and they might drop a kernel or two and it makes a slight clang in their metal food dish? This was like a heavy clang, 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 clang in her dish. And I was like, what the heck? So, all right, we'll just get to this one before. So this one here is a pie slice, again. This one is from Rose Girls, an abracadabra, which is lavender, the olive branch, and lavender cucumber sage. This is from a D-stash I purchased from my friend Sarah. And, okay, so, this is so funny. I'm like, what the heck is she doing back there? So she's been like clang, clang, clanging for like, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go over there and I'll get up. I'll get my lazy ass out of the couch, off the couch, and go check it out. Okay, so it was middle of summer, so it was very hot. And around here we get a lot of grasshoppers when it's hot. I'm sure that's the same everywhere. So they're huge, and they're huge and they're fat. They're mondo. They're huge. So much else I can say about that. Anyway, she had brought in a grasshopper, which not a big deal, but what was kind of mean was that clanging noise that she was doing. She had obviously brought it in within her mouth, which makes sense because at the time I'm like, oh, she didn't make that noise when she announced her presence this time. She just walked in. Her tail was happy. She walked in, blah, blah, blah. And we just started hearing the clanging noise. Well, it turns out she grabbed this huge grasshopper and decided to try to drown it in her water dish. So there you have it. My cat is so sweet. But that's what cats do, right? I mean, really, they're animals. But I thought it was funny. She's like, I'm going to kill you in my dish, my food dish, my water dish. She was trying to drown the thing in her water, which was kind of funny. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of the situation. It was kind of funny, you know? All right, so we have another chunk here, another slice of a pie from Rose Girls, and strawberry peeps cakes. Peeps, plural. Strawberry peeps cakes, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so Willow is just, she's a funny little thing. I mean, she catches mice, even so much as, you know, as far as I know, she still does it. She doesn't do it as often. She's pretty lazy and laid back now. I mean, she is 14 and a half, but she'll leave me a present out on the front door of a mouse that once was a mouse, that once had a body, but still had a tail and a head. So she's picky about body parts of what she might eat and whatever. So anyway, I know that's not very appealing, but again, that's kind of just what animals do. What else was I going to tell you about her? She's just hilarious. She definitely has lots of quirks, and I love it. Let's see. Okay, so Hey Jay Hugs. Hey Jay. He always comments and he always watches, so thanks very much, Jay. Anyway, his question is, how did you decide you wanted to be a volunteer firefighter? Did other members of your family do it, or was it another reason? I am the first person in my family, as far as I know, on either side of my family to become a firefighter. So, with that said, no, I think that sorry, I don't know where that came from. Oh, I'm losing stuff. So yeah, I am it. So it wasn't a family influence. I've always been a part of my communities, no matter where I've lived. My hometown, I've been a volunteer. When I was 11 years old, I helped out at the pool with instructors with because I was an avid swimmer and did very well. I excelled in sports and things like that. But when it comes to swimming, our little tiny town had a nice pool, and they always had swimming instruction, or swimming lessons, and I would go there and help. And if they had a child that needed extra help, I would take that child aside and kind of make them blow the bubbles, depending on the age and what range we were teaching at the time. So I've always been involved in my community, is what I'm trying to say here. And then I became an auxiliary constable RCMP officer. So volunteer 100%, put on that bulletproof vest, go out there and help my community. And I was always partnered up with an RCMP officer. So did that for almost 12 years. It was just a couple of hours shy. Oh, sorry. Rose Girls. Rose Girls Garden, which is raspberry sauce and vanilla bean Noel. Sorry, before I cut into this, how about I show you? There you go. I like cutting these into fours, or quarters, I guess. But there was a lot of rules that were changing for the auxiliary constable program with RCMP. I loved being a part of the community. I loved getting my hands dirty. I loved, I didn't mind a challenge at all. In fact, I thrive under that kind of thing. But unfortunately, the program itself was kind of changing very rapidly. So I knew I had to find something different. And at that point, I moved to Ladysmith. Ladysmith is the town I live in, which is not a surprise if you follow me on Instagram. And anyway, I moved here and I was like, okay, no, I still want to volunteer and I still want to challenge. I want to challenge myself. Complacency in any job is like the worst thing, but I didn't want to be complacent in life. I think that was the thing. I never liked being complacent in life. So I sat down. I didn't know the chief of the fire department at the time, but I made an appointment, sat down with him, asked him some questions. He was great. He answered all my questions that I had, and then some. And then he also, in a neighboring, because at the time there was no female firefighter in my hometown, but what he did too before, he's like, put your application in for sure, but he's like, I'm going to give you, he was given permission to give a phone number out to me of a female firefighter from a neighboring town who had been a firefighter for 16 years, also volunteer. This is all volunteer, paid on call. And he's like, and I think it'd probably be great for you to sit down with her and have a chat. So I did, and I called that, oh, sorry. This is Rose Girls Banana Fluff Puffs. And I called that lady from the neighboring town. We sat, and just happened to be Valentine's Day, oddly enough. I felt bad because, she's married, and I'm like, are you sure you want to come out with me? She's like, yeah, my husband's working. So we sat down for like 2 hours, and we chatted about all sorts of things, just in life. And she turned to me and she said, you've got a great aptitude for firefighting because of the police work that I was doing before. It doesn't come across on videos, but I swear like a trucker. Not that that's part of it, but when you've got a bunch of brothers, I've never had brothers before in my life, but you fit in. You just fit in, and it's not about swearing. I shouldn't even say that, but there's just that. I am a girly girl in so many ways, but I'm not in so many ways as well. And I'm willing to work hard. And I think that's the thing, is that in the fire departments, there's so much training involved, that there's so much time that you're away from home. Now, I don't have a family of my own, but plenty of people do in that hall, and I can appreciate the fact that they have to leave their families when we go away on courses, or when we're doing events in the community. Their families out there enjoying the event that we're helping with, but we're in the event or helping set up or things like that. And then there's still firefighting. And our fire department we're fire rescue. So we're right on a main highway. So we do lots of motor vehicle accidents. Willow, hey. No. So we have lots of motor vehicle accidents. Unfortunately, we have overdoses. Unfortunately, we have cardiac arrests, lift assists for ambulance, first responders. Sometimes we're the first on the scene before the ambulance can get there. So of course, a lot of us are ticketed for that. Fighting fires is like we're a fire department, but fighting fires is been lately, and knock on wood, less and more of the other stuff. And it's so challenging and it's wonderful, and your brain is stimulated and you're learning lots every day. And that's what I wanted. I felt like I was young enough to start something new, physically fit enough to start something new, and I could see myself being there for like 15-20 years. So I applied. It was a long story. Thanks, Jay. No, but it's a good question. It's a long story, but I made my application and went through the process, and I am still and currently the only female at my fire hall, which I hope changes someday, but it's tough when a lot of women are not stay-at-home moms, or they could be stay-at-home moms, but they're single moms. And I mean, we're on call. We're on call. That pager goes off. You're expected to go if you're out with a family for dinner. You know, and if you got someone to take care of your child, if they're there, you go. It's too small of a town just to sort of like, oh, it's not my duty crew, I'm not going to go. You kind of go. It's just one of those things. And the last one here is Lemon Cotton Candy Ice Cream Cake by Rose Girls. And this is really pretty. Look at all that. It looks like a rainbow. I may or may not get to all these questions, so I apologize. There may be a couple questions at the end that I will save for the next one. So Jane Nicole, do you believe in paranormal, supernatural things? And have you had any odd situations happen? I don't disbelieve in stuff. I'm more of like, I believe in like spiritual things happening. I mean, that might sound strange to some, but, when I constantly see a white butterfly flying over me, I just assume it's one of my past, you know, one of my ancestors who's passed, or just saying hi, that kind of thing. Because I believe that. I think at the end of the day, I believe in anything that makes a positive out of something weird, right? I've had TVs turn on and off on me before. That's strange. But again, it doesn't scare me at all. I look at it this way. Loved ones pass. They miss you too, and they want to let you know that they're there for you, or, you know, whatever. And I feel like, again, like there's a time that there's these little white butterflies that fly around all the time, and I'm like, why do I have so many white butterflies flying around me, and always white? And I'm like, it's just probably grandparent or something like that that's flying by. I'm just letting you know that I'm thinking about you, kind of thing. And so I know it sounds maybe strange to some. I'm not a super religious person. I don't disagree with religion. I just sometimes disagree with, I don't like getting told what to do. Isn't that funny? I don't like that. I think I had a bad experience when I was younger. My family is religious. It's just not practicing back home, and not to offend anybody at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that paranormal things, a lot of people who are fairly religious don't believe in that, and that's fine, and some people do, and that's cool. I've gone for tea leaf reading. That's not paranormal or supernatural, really. I like the tea leaf reader is super cool here in town. Regardless, the tea is great, and so is the food. And then you go for tea leaf reading. It's kind of fun. Yeah, I wouldn't say anything really weird's happened. The butterfly thing is definitely top on the list there, for sure. Yeah, no, I can't really think of anything else. Nothing really scares me in that sense. I always try to change it and make it a positive. I used to love horror movies. Excuse me, hiccups, when I was a kid. So, you know, whatever. That probably totally didn't answer your question. But thank you guys very much for your questions. I have another one from, I've got two from Jenny G060, and one from my friend Heather, which I will save for the next video, whenever that might be. It'll probably be some loaf cutting in that one too, the next one. So you guys, as always, thanks very much for joining me and watching me cut up a bunch of stuff, and I'm really liking this wave cutter. Very nice. All right, you guys, as always, be safe and have fun. Bye.